Hi, welcome to the Teacher Education Program for Africa. My name is Alusain Barry. Quality education is necessary for an independent Africa that is thriving and free from poverty. The Teacher Education Program for Africa is geared towards supporting teachers to be able to deliver on this very important goal. Today, I'll be introducing the professional standards for teachers and school leaders in Sierra Leone. Like you see, I noted, this is almost a Bible for all educational practitioners and stakeholders. Every profession has its own standards. You go to medicine, you go to law, you go everywhere. People in professions have standards by which they hold themselves, by which they classify themselves as this person is doing well in the profession, this person is not doing so well, or every professional within that profession can charge themselves and see how far they still have to go in their profession. Um, while these standards are geared towards Sierra Leone particularly, uh, many countries in Africa have very similar standards. Okay, so you can use this as a basis to go on and look at your own specific country in Africa, which standards they have. But they should be very similar, okay, because they are based on the International Task Force for Teachers. So the standards are based on three key domains of teacher competence. So as you can see here, the domains of the standards are professional knowledge. Teachers must have a particular professional knowledge. Teachers must be able to practice their professionally. So professional knowledge, professional practice, and professional engagement. Okay, so what you know as a professional, what you can do, your practice, what you do on a daily basis as a professional within your profession, and how you engage with stakeholders. That could be students, parents, school leaders. These are the three key domains of teacher competence that are considered within the professional standards. As I started earlier, education in Sierra Leone is the right of all children, and this is enshrined in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, relevant policies, and international conventions. This is, in fact, in the introduction of the teaching standards. Okay. One key thing that I saw in the Declaration of International Teachers is this key fact that teaching is a clinical profession, okay? And the learner is the center of all practice. This is very, very important. So teaching is a clinical profession. That means it's evidence-based, right? So you don't just wake up one day and do what you want. We have theories that guide teaching. We have precedents, things that have been happening. So it's evidence-based, right? So this is why report cards, standardizing assessments, making sure curricula is standardized across countries is extremely important. This document is led primarily by the Teaching Service Commission. Okay, so for Sierra Leone, the Teaching Service Commission is the body that oversees the professional standards. In fact, all matters of teacher development or engagement are led by the TSC in Sierra Leone. So they use these professional standards for accreditation and monitoring of teacher education institutions. So if you are a teacher education institution or you are attending one, the TSC will use these standards to accredit and monitor their programs for teachers. Okay, these standards for the TSC, the Teaching Service Commission, will also serve as syllabus. So when they want to set qualifying tests for teachers, these standards will be the basis. Right. Soon I will take you to a document that I saw online that is that has the standards, and I'll send you a link in the video so you can also follow it through and see. Okay, so it serves as syllabus. So when they want to set exams for teachers, the teaching standards are like the syllabus. Okay, next, the teaching standards also serves for the TSC, first of all, as a benchmark for registering and licensing of new teachers. So this is what the document that is referred to. So when you are to be licensed as a teacher. Okay, it also provides a framework for the accreditation and content of monitoring and evaluating of professional development programs for teachers. Okay, it provides a framework and content for accreditation and monitoring and evaluating of teacher professional development programs. So if you are an NGO working for teachers, these standards are what the TSC will use to evaluate the programs of teacher development you are implementing. It also serves as a guide for adjudicating teacher disciplinary matters. Okay, so when there is a disciplinary issue regarding teachers, these documents, the professional standards, will serve as a guide in those sorts of proceedings. This document is extremely important for teachers and school leaders especially, right? So we have a total of 248 standards, 19 main standards for teachers, 5 main standards for school leaders. So if you want to be a teacher, or you are a teacher, you know that these 19 standards are what you will be evaluated by. If you're a school leader, you have these 5 standards if you want to become a school leader in Sierra Leone. Right? The standards are further broken down into a total of 248 standards. Okay, so how teachers are being broken down. In fact, I think it's probably better. Let me take you to the document itself so we can see how it's broken down for teachers. 4 career stages as a teacher. You are either a new teacher or you are a proficient teacher. So a new teacher is just you're from a teacher training institution, right? First time you've had your 3 or 4 years teacher training, you're a new teacher. Proficient teacher is someone who has had years, say 5 years of teaching experience, plus has been mentored for a while. And then for a highly accomplished teacher, you're a professional beyond just the basics, right? You've mastered the subject at a very high level. And a distinguished teacher has become a leader in the field of education, right? So, in fact, let me just take you to the document here. So as you can see, a new teacher is just graduates from institution for the first time, proficient, teacher who has successfully undergone mentoring and some years of professional practice, highly accomplished and distinguished, right? So like I said, the link is in the video below. You can follow it up and read this. You really have to read this document, okay? Right, so but before we go to browsing the documents, let me just take you through the coverage of these professional standards, how important they are. These standards apply to all schools. So whether it's primary or primary, secondary, or whether you are private or public institution, these standards are the guide that regulate the work you do. Okay, so it covers both private and public sectors. It applies to teacher education institutions for the purpose of accrediting teacher education programs. So if you are designing a teacher education program, these are the standards they will be measured by. Okay, whether or not they are enough quality. Because teachers, imagine teachers, say like doctors. If you take poorly trained doctors and put them in hospitals and they have to take care of citizens, those doctors will be causing damage to the lives of people. And this is something that's very similar to teachers. When teachers are poorly trained or teacher training programs are of poor quality, this will affect the quality of teaching and learning these people can deliver. And this will affect the economy at every level you can imagine. Okay, these standards also apply to providers of professional development programs. Okay, so accreditation, this is the thing you need to look out for. Right, now let me just take you through to the document. So that's the career path for teachers. Let's see what the standards are. So this is you read, this is an important part of the document, the Declaration of International Task Force of Teachers 2017. Right? So we need teaching standards and regulatory bodies. So we have this as TSC in Sierra Leone. Countries should develop and accredit teacher programs based on these standards. The teaching profession is a clinical practice-based approach. Right? These standards are required for school leadership. Very important. Okay, so browse through this document, learn from it, use it, and see how you can improve as a teacher. So this is the area, the summary of the standards: professional knowledge, what you should know; professional practice, for example, planning learning activities, delivering lessons, assessing learning, participate and supervise in extracurricular activities, safeguard human rights and lives. These are things you should be able to do as part of your practice. Right? There's a lot more to learn here.